Looking at the time, it is noon, and we understand how valuable everybody's time is, and so we want to be respectful of that and proceed accordingly with our webinar about career fairs at Murray State. And so I know that we have some people still coming into the waiting room and so on and so forth, but and forgive us too. I will say this is our first time kind of using the official Zoom webinar component. And so we're going to cross all of our fingers here. And regardless of what the technology does, we're thrilled to have you join us and to kind of learn a little bit more about our upcoming fairs. With the transition over to the CFSB Center last fall, this felt like a better venue to kind of go through the nuts and bolts and housekeeping of career fairs at Murray State instead of trying to speak to everybody in a big basketball arena on a microphone. We understand that can be rather challenging from time to time. We are going to start with a poll question. We've got just two of them for today's webinar. And so if you are attending, you don't mind jumping in very quickly. If you've participated in a career fair here at Murray State, we would love to hear that information. If not, that's fine too. And it looks like everybody here, I'll put the results up on the screen. Everybody is new, and we're super thrilled with that. So it's great to have you all here, and hopefully this is the beginning of a long tradition for your organization and recruiting here at Murray State. We will get to introductions here just momentarily, but I will say that we are thrilled to have the fall semester starting back up and to have the students back on campus. Campus is alive. We have one of the biggest freshman classes ever this particular semester. And as I said, we could not be more thrilled. You can definitely feel it too. Whenever we look at our windows or we're trying to find a parking spot in the morning, definitely enrollment is significantly increased. We have students from 49 different states. And so I want to implore anybody listening to this, whether it be live or on the recording after the fact, if you know anybody in Delaware, we would be very interested in speaking to that particular individual, especially if they are thinking about a college degree. So brief outline here. Of course, we will do introductions, talk about the main overall details of our upcoming fall two-day career expo, different information for your teams to prepare and get ready for not only our fair, but feel free to take some of our tips and advice, and it may apply to other recruitment events that you do elsewhere other than Murray State. Of course, logistical details, best practices that we've found from past attendees, and information we've received from our employers. And then we're happy to take questions throughout the presentation today, and then answer those at the end the best we can. And then obviously for individual questions, our contact info is readily accessible as well. So we're happy to go offline and speak one-on-one if that makes the most sense. So very quickly though, so introductions. My name is Matt Purdy. I'm the director here of Career Services. Before I got into higher education, I was in a few different fields, a few different industries. My background is all primarily business focused, actually. So I earned my marketing degree. I was asked to stay for my master's. I said thanks, but no thanks. They offered to pay for it. My alma mater did. And that was pretty much a no brainer at that point. And I've been very blessed to have an amazing career in career services in the higher educational space. Over 16 years, I've been able to work with thousands of students and thousands of employers, both on the um, student side, the employer relations side, and now as a director here at Career Services at Murray State. And some of you will be very familiar with Amanda Mansfield, who has actually was in charge of career fairs back in the spring whenever we first transitioned to the CFSB Center. And so Amanda, I will let you take it away with your introductions.
Yes, so thank you all for attending today. My name is Amanda Mansfield. As Matt said, I am the Career Experience Coordinator. So I would be your contact mainly for those internship opportunities, externships, co-ops, service learning, any other kind of experiential learning opportunities outside of just your everyday job. And we also have Katie Kreisky, who is joining us as well. So Katie is going to be your main contact. And Katie, I will let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm glad that you all are here today. My name is Katie Kreisky. I am the Employer Relations Coordinator for Career Services. So career fairs, Handshake, job postings, all of that fun stuff. I am your go-to person.
Let me unmute myself. Amanda, did you want to talk a little bit about last year's fairs?
Sure. So I believe that's coming up, but we can go into this semester. We are hosting same as we have in the past, but I understand that all of you attending live have not attended our fairs, but we will be in the CFSB Center again this semester on September the 26th for our all majors fair. So that's all majors that are out there. And then on the 27th is specifically geared toward those STEM majors and our occupational safety and health. Both events are going to be running from 2 o'clock to 5 p.m. Employer check-in begins at noon. And just a little highlight of what we saw last semester in the spring. This was a new venue for us at the CFSB Center. We had previously held our career fairs in our student center called the Curra Center in the ballroom. This particular venue, it turned out to be a really great change for us. It was a larger venue. It gave the employers kind of more visibility and more space to spread out so they can interact with students a little bit better. We did see the highest employer turnout in history at both fairs, so at the all majors event and at the STEM and occupational safety and health. And we saw highest student turnout at that all majors event since 2016. So we are definitely anticipating probably even higher numbers than what we saw in the spring. So it's going to be a great event. And then I'll pass it off to Katie. She'll talk about some logistical details. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to use the chat or the Q&A, and I'll be monitoring that for you.
So like Amanda said, we're in the CFSB Center this year again. So employer check-ins started at noon. It is first come, first serve for tables. However, unless you are sponsoring, and then you kind of get to pick your table in a sense. Parking, we've had a lot of questions about parking so far. Luckily, in the CFSB Center, you do not need a parking pass. However, if you're planning on visiting other places on campus, we do recommend getting a parking pass, a visitor's pass. We use the DOT system, which kind of pairs you up with majors that you're looking for. However, we do want you all to try to be welcoming to all majors that come to your table, but it is a very fast and easy way for you to quickly identify majors that you're looking at. So this is something new that we're doing. As you can see, it's in beta testing. We are doing career fair tours this year. So it's for underclassmen who aren't necessarily looking, but they'll be looking in the future, or, you know, they're kind of nervous about, you know, career fairs because, you know, sometimes they can be big events. So we're not enforcing a dress code because we want these students to feel as comfortable as they can be, and it will be a guided tour by one of our staff members. So, you know, it's an opportunity for them to engage and learn about some organizations. And if you are interested in having tours come up to your tables during career fair, let either myself, Amanda, Matt, or even the day of one of our career staff members to know as well. So booths, you all get a 6-foot table and 2 chairs. Power is available, for TVs, laptops, lighting, anything that you need. We do ask that you do be respectful of other vendors' spaces, which comes in hand with the next slide, and banners. They're great. Banners are great eye catchers. They're fantastic. Just make sure that, they're within your space and they're not crowding into someone else's space at the same time, because we want to be courteous of all of our vendors and all of the employers that are coming. And then, listen, if there's one thing that students absolutely love, it's free things, especially free food, but second best is, free items that they can have. So we suggest either, bringing promotional items or giveaways, sunglasses, candy, phone accessories, tote bags, information that you have, anything that you think that you can get into their hands that will remind them of you is what we think would be best. So packages, this is highly important, especially if you're shipping material to our career fairs. We do have a destination. It is the CFSB Center. So that address that you see on your screen, CFSB Center, 1401 Kentucky, 121 Murray, Kentucky. Make sure that that's on there. However, the biggest thing that you can do is on your package, mark attention materials for career fair and then your organization's name. That's going to be the big thing, because sometimes packages get sent other places on campus, and we can't make promises that if a package doesn't have this on it, that we can get it. So highly important that there's one thing you take away from today, and if you're sending packages, is this slide right here. And then to send your packages back. Okay, so it's still CFSB, it's all the same. Loading dock at gate D. You have to contact your shipper, which we have all of them: FedEx, UPS, USPS, DHL. The most important thing is to remember, though, that pickup hours are 8 to 4 a.m. Monday through Friday. So weekends, holidays, university closures don't really count in that mix. So when you are scheduling your pickup, make sure that you specify Monday through Friday and then a time between 8 and 4 for our vendors or for the people to pick up.
And one thing I know I'm transitioning to into the next section, thanks, Katie, but I figured since we're on here, I will say all the packages that we get, all the boxes, whenever we process those before the event, this white sheet you see on your screen, we actually have copies of those. We'll tape those to every single box or package or case that we come across for the career fair. So your representatives will have this sheet in front of them there at the particular venue. So we understand this was a pinch point we identified in the spring with this. So that's why we clarified exactly which gate and then the hours of pickup. So just wanted to make sure that everybody is well aware of that. We try to avoid any issues that that may arise, and this is one way that we do that. Of course, if there are ever any challenges, your team is are welcome to reach out to us. So some advanced work, we always like telling students to do your research and investigate the company list and kind of do a little bit of work on the front end. And we actually share that with employers as well, because the employers we see that really have got really good success and a good ROI off of these events, they all tend to do similar things, and we'll share these with you now. One of the big things that we see is being very proactive on Handshake. Okay, I think most people are going to be familiar with what Handshake is. If nothing else, I know you've gone through it at least once because that's how you registered for our career fairs. But that's basically our online career management platform here at Murray State. We're very proud to be a Handshake school. We brought in Handshake about 4 years ago, and we've had literally exponential growth compared to our old platform. So we're really excited about this. It's opened up a lot of doors and opportunities for racers across all of our colleges and majors. One big thing though is whenever students are looking at the career fair details and they're looking at the company list, they can see, oh, this particular organization, oh, they've got internships open. Let me click on that and find out more information, potentially apply in advance. Guys, too, if you're planning on interviewing shortly after the event, That's a really good thing to highlight in your particular positions as well. And consider being very proactive in terms of messaging Murray State students. As employers, you may have access to where you can search for very specific majors, GPA, interests, et cetera, et cetera. If you're able to do that and send a message, yeah, great, consider doing that. Invite those particular students to come visit you at your table whatever day or both days. We've got plenty of two-dayers out there already registered for the 26th and 27th both. Invite them to come by your booth and meet you. While it is a big venue and tables are first come, first serve, it's basically all on a big circuit. So all they have to do is make a lap and they can find your table. Push come to shove, they can always talk to career services. We would be happy to escort them directly to your location after you get all set up. And I put this up here. So we average around between 600 and 800 applications per month on our Handshake system. And around 30 to 40% of our students are using their mobile devices for this as well. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of the usage and the uptick. If you are doing on-campus interviews, great news. We will actually have got a template for you to fill out there in your packet. Um, we actually do digital packets now, with the exception of this. We want to make sure you have a physical hard copy, a tentative interview schedule. Your team can fill this out there right at the venue and fill it out with what works for them as far as their start time, their end time. The only thing we'll ask is that we get some copy of this at some point after the event ends. It could be just walking it by and letting us snap a picture of it. They could email it to us, they could text it to us, just so that way we are prepared for the very next day. We also include interview reminder cards as well. So that way that can be a nice takeaway for the students that they speak to. We know a lot of companies that want to build their schedule at the career fair, and we want to respect and support that as much as possible. Now, there are a multitude of different technologies and features coming out on a regular basis. One system that we've looked at, actually one concept anyway that we've looked at, are QR codes at employers' tables to kind of track and see how many students each individual organization has spoken with. And so we wanted to put a poll question out regarding this and to find out, is this of interest to you and to your organization? Would you be interested in some kind of a tracking system to track students who come and speak to your group? We had an idea that, yes, everybody would love this, but we would just going to want to check and make sure and see. So looks like we've got, give it just a couple more seconds here. There's a clear runaway winner here. I'll go and share the results here. A lot of people are really interested in this. And so that's really good feedback for us. We are talking to a potential provider for this. We don't know if it will be ready to go here in less than a month. However, stay tuned. And with all these changes, obviously, we like to start as small and as gentle as we can and make sure we can scale it and make it a great experience for everybody. But that's really advantageous data. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts and feedback with us on that. Now, one other thing too, in terms of being proactive with Murray State students, a handful of different details here. Think about using tools like LinkedIn, co-hosting a workshop with career services. We do anywhere between 70 to, it could be upwards of 100 sometimes, of presentations per semester. And those are student organizations, classes, residential college groups, so on and so forth. And we do ask, whenever people sign up for these to have us come and present, we ask, are you open to having an external speaker? And so it's great whenever we can have employers come and join us and maybe share your thoughts on things like how to work a career fair, for instance, how to interview, what you look for on resumes and cover letters. Obviously, we want to make sure you share the relevant information with the group that the faculty member has asked for, but everybody involved understands too, it's going to be a commercial for your opportunities in your positions. And so that may be of interest to you. Likewise, too, we are starting to dabble with the idea of things like Instagram takeovers. The idea is we would give you our login and password for Instagram for a day. You show us a day in the life of whatever one of your interns or entry-level positions might do, and we push that out to our particular population. Likewise, too, tagging students. So hashtag We Are Racers is just one of many tags that you'll find on most Murray State posts. I like recommending go out to the Murray State Instagram and social media and see what our team is already tagging. That can be another good way to help float your particular posts to the top and get them seen by students. And so I've always been a big fan of meeting students where they're at. They're definitely online, mainly Instagram and Reels and things along those lines. Facebook, not so much, but it's not the end of the world to be out there because we still use Facebook. A little bit of inside baseball. We don't use it to connect with the students. We use it to connect with moms and dads because they are still on Facebook. So a little bit of inside baseball there for you. I will say this, I've got to put one slight caveat on this, particularly with like classroom presentations or career services seminars. The day before the fairs, we usually don't do presentations that entire week because we're so busy. We've got setup going on all day the Monday of that week over the CFSB Center. And so I recognize that would be the ideal time, especially if your team has to travel in. Unfortunately, we usually don't do any presentations that week at all. So we really encourage all of our student organizations and classes, if they're gonna have us come in the week before at the latest, if at all possible. So I wanted to kind of put that out there. And I'm going to throw it back to Amanda to talk about a few more best practices.
All right, thank you. That was a lot of good information there. So first, you can go on to the next slide. We want to talk a little bit about, and Matt mentioned this before, just being open to various majors. You never know what student is going to come up to your booth and want to talk about the opportunities that you have available. So we don't want to make a bad impression on the students who are there to network. This is all about networking opportunities for our students. So just try to keep that in mind. I do like to use this as an example. One of our team members overheard an organization in a career fair past who was there at the career fair specifically targeting marketing and management majors, but they had a criminal justice major come up to their table and ask about their opportunities. So they quickly pivoted to what opportunities they had in their loss prevention department. So that's just a good example of an employer taking the information that the student gave them and kind of pivoting and meeting them where they are. And they use that opportunity to promote other opportunities that they had at their company. So just being open to anybody who comes to your table. And also, we do want to highlight that Murray State is a very diverse campus. We're very proud of that. We also have a very thriving international student population. So you're going to see a wide variety of students come up to your table. If you have any kind of diversity initiative at your organization, this is a great way to recruit for those initiatives. We have a lot of different students here who are very talented. So just again, being open to any student who is going to come and talk to you at your table. And we can talk about some fun ways to grab students' attention. Katie mentioned this before, but having some unique ways to entice students to come to your table is going to be beneficial not only to your organization, but to the students as well. They want to come and have a comfortable, very successful interaction at the career fair. So you can do interactive games. And this also just involves engaging them in conversation, and proactive body language and eye contact is really important. And another great tool that a lot of successful employers have used at the career fairs is inviting some either past interns or current interns to come and table with them at their booth. This is going to give the students kind of somebody that they can look at as their peer, and it's going to really entice them to come and talk about your organization. So we always encourage, if you have intern students who have worked with you in the past or are currently working with you, go ahead and invite them to come to the career fair with you.
Okay. Well, we have reached the end of this journey. We try to be as efficient as possible with your time. Um, I don't see any Q&As right now in the box, but we're happy to take those. I will share too, very quickly, I want to dovetail on what Amanda talked about in terms of, and I am going to back the slides up just a hair, as far as talking to a diverse range of majors. One of my favorite stories about this, not unlike the one that Amanda talked about, um, it was an engineering events. We had a farm equipment manufacturer who came here, and we had a marketing student who really wanted to work for this particular organization. And obviously they were here to recruit for engineering. They weren't here for business or sales or marketing or anything like that. And as a freshman, this young lady went up and started talking to them, and they were like, "Look, talk to us next year. We're not really here for marketing. We're on the engineering side." And we totally get that and respect that. Murray State's a very big organization. If somebody came up to me and wanted to work in, say, financial aid, I know those people a little bit, but not super well to really talk about their opportunities. What happened though was she was able to convince the engineering group to at least give her an email address of somebody on the marketing side and somebody on the HR side, and she was able to parlay that into a couple of different internships and started her very successful career with that particular organization. That's another example in terms of just being open. And we understand that your team may not be recruiting for their specific major, but if they're open to at least having that conversation, that can help out all the way across the board. We've got nearly 150 majors here at Murray State, and we would love to be your one-stop shop for your recruiting needs as much as we possibly can. So I will jump forward here. We also recognize that recruiting is not cheap. Travel is not cheap. We want to make sure that you have a great experience here. You don't have to recruit at Murray State. And so we really, truly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate making the trip here to Murray and having opportunities for our students. If there's ever anything we can do, don't hesitate to let us know. We look forward to seeing you and your teams in September. And Amanda and Katie, any closing thoughts?
Thank you all, everyone who's attending here live today and everyone who's watching later on in the recording. We really appreciate you supporting our students and recruiting here at Murray State.
She summed it up perfectly, so.
Wonderful. So while this is a webinar, we are going to be following up as well with an email listing out some of the logistical information as well. And if there's ever anything we can be a service for, please reach out to us anytime. And as I said, we'll see your teams in September. Take care and have a great rest of your week.